Some good news for the ozone layer today. Plus, the royal family is back in the headlines. That's some of what we'll get to on The 7 from The Washington Post. I'm Jeff Pierre. It's Tuesday, January 10th. Now let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. First up, there were striking similarities between Sunday's riots in Brazil and the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Thousands of far-right protesters stormed the main buildings of all 3 branches of government in Brazil's capital. They were supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro. My colleagues at The Post reviewed videos of the attack. They found that the rioters used some of the same tactics to break past law enforcement and get inside. And once they got in, they destroyed and stole property. Brazilian officials knew in advance about the protest, and they thought that they could contain it, but they were vastly outnumbered. Number 2, classified documents were found in President Biden's former office. Lawyers for the president discovered about 10 files in November in an office used by Biden after his vice presidency. The White House said yesterday that they were handed to the National Archives, and the Justice Department is reviewing those documents. This may sound familiar. It has echoes of the investigation into former President Donald Trump's handling of sensitive files, but details from Biden's lawyer suggest some key differences. For one, the documents were discovered by Biden's lawyers and voluntarily turned over to authorities. Also, the documents were not the subject of any previous request or inquiry. Number 3. The death toll from a string of storms in California rose to 14. There was heavy damage yesterday, including mudslides and collapsed roads. Thousands of people were evacuated in Santa Barbara County, and a 5-year-old boy is missing after being swept away in a creek. Heavy rain will continue today, and forecasters expect up to 7 more inches this week, with no real break in sight. Russia has launched a powerful new attack in an eastern region of Ukraine. That's story number 4. Russian troops are trying to seize a salt mining town in the Donetsk region. The recent fighting has been really savage. That's the way one U.S. official put it yesterday. Elsewhere in Ukraine, one of our correspondents reported that life in the country's capital, Kyiv, is carrying on despite bombings and blackouts. This is proof that Russia's plan to make life unbearable this winter has largely failed. Number 5 is good news if you're a Bulldog. Georgia is the back-to-back college football national champion.
The Georgia Bulldogs bludgeoned their way to back-to-back. Glory, glory, Georgia, as the fight song says.
The Bulldogs beat the TCU Horned Frogs 65-7. This win made them the first repeat national champion of the college football playoff era. In other football news, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin was released from a Cincinnati hospital yesterday. This is a week after he collapsed during an NFL game against the Bengals. Number 6. Prince Harry's controversial memoir, Spare, hit bookstores today. Parts of the book have leaked. In interviews on Sunday, Harry accused his father, brother, and stepmother of conspiring against him and his wife, Meghan. Here he is talking to Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes.
You know, the family motto is never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto, and it doesn't really hold.
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
Endless.
Private being done through leaks.
Through leaks.
Harry and Meghan split with the British royal family in 2020, and the book, Harry's interviews, and a recent Netflix documentary series are an attempt to control that narrative. And number 7, efforts to repair the ozone layer are working. The ozone layer is the atmospheric shield that blocks harmful ultraviolet sunlight from reaching the Earth's surface. It's key to protecting human health and food security. And a new study has found that the layer is thickening as we phase out ozone-eating chemicals. This is proving that big environmental problems can be solved when nations work together. And just like that, you're all caught up. And if you're looking for something to watch tonight, the Golden Globes will be on NBC, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Comedian Gerard Carmichael will be hosting. I'm Jeff Pierre, and I'll meet you back here tomorrow.